overview of this game that you're trying to create?
I will, and I'll go full screen with it for a second. So, actually, I pulled this image off of drawshop.com, which is a vector art warehouse kind of a place. Anyway, so I had this, I was thinking, like, man, I want to make something simple. I want to make something that's really just one-tap gameplay. But the concept came to me that the most annoying thing in life right now is ads, right? Because they're so invasive. They're in everything that you do. I was like, let's make a game where the ads are the bad guy. And so the idea was like, basically, behind one door is nothing. Behind a second door is some tokens or some reward, and then behind the third door is an ad that pops up on your screen, and then you can pay tokens to get rid of it. So there's a miniature economy going on, where basically you feel like you have a 1/3 chance to be able to progress forward, a 1/3 chance to be penalized and progress forward, and a 1/3 chance to get rewarded and move forward. And so it feels like there's this equal chance all the way around. And so basically after you click through and you get your result, you get 3 more doors with the results randomly mixed. So that's really the idea. And then I added this devil guy because I realized that if I did this, people might hate me personally. So I had to come up with a character so that people would wrap their head around what's the right word? Sublimate the emotions towards a character as opposed to towards me. And so
misdirect their hostility somewhere else.
Yes, exactly. So and then I thought, let's just go ahead and take that all the way and make it a devil, and you're basically trying to escape hell by clicking through these doors.
And then this art looks very cool. Did you do this yourself?
No, I pulled this devil guy off of drawshop.com.
Okay, cool.
And that's one of the resources that I jump into to get either free or cheap art.
Okay.
There's a few of those. I'll actually compile a link somewhere, but generally, if you do a search for indie game art or free 3D models or free vector in Google, you'll come back with a few different repositories. And so, okay, cool. I usually have an idea before I go there what exactly I'm looking for.
Right.
Sometimes I just do a Google search. Sometimes it's basically... Actually, that's how I found this. I did a Google search for devil business and something or other, and then I was like, oh, Drawshop, I could just actually go buy this vector art, right?
That devil means business for sure.
Yeah, that's right. He looks pretty happy. So also, you'll notice here that I'm in Keynote. And so now I start to do, since I'm sort of mobile focused, it's not the right aspect ratio, but it's a nice way for me to quickly mock things up, right? One of the things that's missing here is actually, to me, let's do this. I'll actually hide this one out. Oh, hold on. I just hit Command D, by the way, to duplicate the slide, right? And then basically, if I wanted to do something like what the transition for this is, I'll actually go into it and then turn this into something like, right? And so if I can take this as far as I want, as far as how this prototype's going to go and what the flow is going to be, right? But I think what I want to do is, let's see if I can do this.
Chris, would you mind sharing your screen with me on Skype? Could you do that?
Sure.
I might just turn off the Twitch because I would be on a delay.
Oh, you're on the delay right now. You know what?
I'm on the delay for the Twitch, not on the Skype. Like I can hear you, but I'm 20 seconds behind what you're actually doing. I don't know if you could share the screen on Skype and then.
Yep. Hold on a second. Let's try
Sorry
this.
To interrupt.
No, it's okay. Where is that? Is that?
It should be.
I should be able to share my screen, right?
Yes, definitely. Anybody out there in the audience know how to share a screen? It'd be a good time.
Oh, conversations. Got it.
Right click on your current calls. Underneath current calls there's a call with the clock on. There you go. And then right click and then hit share screen.
Yep. You got it. All right, how you doing there? You got it? Put you back up in the corner. How's that look?
It's just no video, right? Maybe you need to click your video button at the bottom there, too. There's a little camera icon.
Okay. Right. So now...
yeah, I see you. I just don't see your screen.
Try this again.
This is a good first episode, by the way.
Yes.
We're learning. We're going. Okay, now I see me. I'm huge.
It's fantastic.
All right, yeah. I think if you just minimize that the Skype screen, and then I'll be able to see the.
How's that?
There we go. Now we're ready to go.
All right, right on. Oh, Matt, that's not true. You can share anything via Twitch that you think is not interesting because it's you, and I'm sure you'll find some viewers. It's just a matter of how far you're willing to go. Anyway, okay, so let's get started on this. So, actually, this is a good place for us to start, Brian. So, there's one thing that I always do ahead of time, and I usually do this on paper. And you'll see some of these on my blog. I keep a blog mainly so that I can I take pictures of my paper notes, and I post them to my blog so that I can go back and reference them later.
Cool. Great idea.
And one of the things that I do is, like, basically I subscribe to the sort of to the essence and pillars process. So when, you know, what's the X statement or the essence of what I'm trying to make, and then what are the three things that it should accomplish, right? So if we were going to do this for 3 doors, let's just call it this one. I would do let's actually change this to numbers. Actually, I won't change it to numbers. It doesn't matter. So, adds of the enemy, fast.
These are 3 basic themes that this game is going to hit, or this application is going to hit.
Correct. And
the main like top level stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, you know, so this is not something I would necessarily share with the player, which is usually what I try to make the pillars about. But for me, this one is actually
correct.
Okay, so I wanted to find also that this is a nice thing about that is if I'm going through doors at, you know, 1 per second, then essentially I have an opportunity, or at least as a game maker, I have a 1/3 opportunity to show an ad. And so it's kind of interesting because, like I said, remember earlier I said I wanted to add Satan as the sort of displacement of anger, is because my relationship with the user or the player is direct in this case, right? So if I were to make this a board game, it would look something like it would be a shell game, right? It's 3 card Monty, right? So like I'm essentially saying, you know, I'm going to screw you with one of these. One of these is nothing, and the other one is the ace, right?
Find the red queen. Find the ace.
Absolutely. So let's call this. Let's see. To me, that's the essence of this. It's mobile 3 card Monty.
MONTE.
Whoops. 3 card money. Money.
I'll take 3 card on money too. Man.
Right?
Yep, there you go.
Or Monty, like Carlo. Anyway, it's so it's mobile 3 card Monty, basically, right? And so like the fantasy of this, none of this is ever going to be consumer facing, right? You and I can talk about this, and we can talk about this on Twitch, and it's one of those things where we'll say like, you know, what is this game actually? And the fantasy of what this is probably more interesting to the consumer, which is like, oh, I gotta escape hell, and right, like they'll pick up subconsciously on what these pillars are, and etc. Like, no problem, right? So you don't have to come out and say this stuff to the player. So, basically they know what they're signing up for. At some point, I'd be surprised if I showed this game to somebody who plays a lot of mobile apps, and they spent 20 seconds with it. They would say, "Wow, it's like 3-card Monty," right? And like, wow, and ads are the enemy. Or at least, if we're successful in what we're building, that's the result. Is they come back with, it's like 3-card Monty, and like ads in it. Ads are the penalty or the enemy, right? And fuck Satan, that asshole, right? Because then like that's where the disconnect is. That's where we shift blame to the fantasy as opposed to me, right?
Right.
So instead of standing on the street doing 3-card Monty, I've basically put on a devil mask, and I'm doing 3-card Monty. So let's get into actually, let me do one last thing because I think. Let's duplicate this. I'm going to try and do everything with right clicks so that people can see what I'm doing instead of doing hotkeys. And if I do hotkeys, I'll try and call them out for you.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Because I realize that I do things.
Right now we're in Keynote stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we're still in Keynote. Actually, I'm going to do this.
So now, are you able to take these elements that you're building in Keynote and use them in the final product?
No. I don't. I probably could if I worked hard at it, but it's faster for me to do it in Photoshop and save it into a format that
right.
that is more efficient or ready to go. So this is probably more like what the game screen looks like, and then let's add a. So there's a couple of things I'm doing here that I'm making decisions about. The goal of the game is to get through 10,000 doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what the reward is, but I'll have to figure that out.
I agree with Matt Lee here saying that Satan is less annoying than grow your penis 3 times with these pills ads.
This is true, but now you can blame Satan for giving you the grow your penis 3 times with the pill ad.
That's the one that's been sending those to you, Matt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's behind it all. Here we go. Let me do this one. This is. Let's just call this. Let's be optimistic and say that you've got 15 tokens, and then I think we basically have our game screen here, right? Or at least what we want it to be. Like now I've got the full image of how I want it to go, right?
Much easier to see it visually like this.
Yeah, and you can kind of understand what the game screen's going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so let me do. So I'm hitting the Command D, which is duplicate, but I'll just do it by mouse here. Then I think what we need to do is here. I'll do. Where's the format window? Do that. Let's change this to, let's say green. We'll just make that the green one, right? Result.
So just an empty door?
Yeah. And you can see, like, I'm not going to go through this the whole way because I think it's maybe not that great for the viewers at some point. But you can see I can, like, mock up almost all of my gameplay screens here just to sort of even organize how I want things to eventually show up, right? This one will be like tokens. Wait, did that not? Oh, okay. It's just a shitty color. Yeah.
You should be behind that door.
Right. It probably is. Okay, so there's tokens and then
ads. Or ad, right?
Plus ad, right.